Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for our Missouri State Admissions live stream Q&A. My name is Kirsty Hunter. Before we start, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I am one of our admission counselors here at Missouri State. Originally, I am from Camdenton, Missouri, and I love being able to return there when I do my spring and fall travel because I do manage our central and northern Missouri territories. It's kind of crazy to think that I have been here for about 5 years here in Springfield. I was a student here at Missouri State, and I graduated with my undergrad back in fall 2018. Right after that, I joined our admission staff as a counselor, and I have been here ever since. And I am also working toward my master's degree in student affairs. So I'll be here a few more years, but I'm really excited to see what else Springfield has to offer me. Before I dive into any questions you all might have or information that you're wanting, I do just want to cover a few short topics. First and foremost, our priority is always going to be the health and safety of our campus. So we have made some updates because of the coronavirus situation. We have created a website where you can monitor any and all of those changes. It is missouristate.edu/admissions/coronavirus, and I'm sure one of our moderators would be happy to drop that in the chat. We do have some moderators here over in the chat to help answer any of your questions as well, give you any relevant links, and just help guide you to get your questions answered. Some changes that we have already made that I want you to be aware of. First is that most of our admission staff is working from home now. We are not on campus, but there are still lots of ways that you can connect with us. The easiest way to get a hold of us is just via email. You can send us an email to admissions@missouristate.edu, and we would be happy to help you out, get you some questions answered, help any of your concerns, anything like that. You are also welcome to schedule an appointment with your specific admissions representative. You can go to missouristate.edu/contact-rep. I'm sure one of our moderators will also drop that in the chat, but that's a great way to schedule a time with your admission counselor to talk either over the phone or over Zoom for any of those more personal questions. Another thing, we have not yet returned to campus to do our campus visits, but we are looking at different ways that we can provide some campus visit opportunities. So be on the lookout for any updates about that. We will try to update you as soon as possible when our visits resume. But in the meantime, you can take a look at our campus via our virtual tour. It goes all over campus, a lot of the same places that you would go if you were here on campus for a campus tour. And that's just a really great way to get another look at campus if you haven't been able to do so already. We have also extended some refund deadlines. So for the confirmation fee and for our housing deposit that you will pay before you enroll, both of those refund deadlines have been extended to June 1st. We just want to give you the most time possible to make the best decision that's right for you. And we don't want you to rush into choosing which college you'll be attending or making some of those payments. So June 1st, 2020 is the refund deadline. So if you let us know that you will no longer be attending at that time, we can refund those to you. And lastly, we have made some changes to Soar, at least for this summer. Some of those changes include moving Soar to one-day sessions. So instead of being 2 days, they will just be 1 day. You also have the opportunity to choose whether you would like to do an in-person session or an on-campus session. Both of them will They will feature very, very similar content. So it's whichever one fits best into your schedule, whichever one works best for you. You can register or re-register for your Soar session on your personalized site. And if you need any help getting into that personalized site or need help registering for Soar, feel free to let us know. A couple of things that I also wanted to mention for any rising seniors that might be here with us today. Missouri State is welcome to have you, and we're very excited that you're interested in Missouri State. Our application for admission is going to be opening up sometime this summer. We do hope to have that open around July. So if you are going to be a senior this coming fall, that's when you can start applying to Missouri State. We have our own application on our website. There is no application fee for our 2021 year, and we also are part of the Common App. So if you're already going to be filling out the Common App anyway, you're welcome to apply to Missouri State that way as well. Lastly, we are working to finalize our standardized testing policy for the 2021 school year. So be on the lookout for updates about that as well from us. So lastly, I just want to mention that I unfortunately won't be able to answer a lot of personal questions during this live stream Q&A. So if you have specific questions about your application status, your financial aid award offer, your housing situation, anything like that, feel free to send us an email to admissions@missouristate.edu, and we will be happy to answer that outside of this chat, just for those privacy and security reasons. So now that I have all of that out of the way, I'm going to hop in here and see if we have any questions to be able to answer for you. I see Turyaga is here with us, Michelle, Nicole, lots going on here. Thank you, Courtney, for dropping all of these links in the chat. Okay, so we don't have any questions yet. Feel free to ask anything and everything that you might be curious about, any specific questions you have about maybe how the fall is going to look, anything like that, we would be happy to help. All right, so a question from Brenda Cooper. She asked, when are housing assignments being sent? We just received an update yesterday from our housing office that our housing assignments will be starting to go out on June 30th. So all assignments will start to go out before the first Soar session. So that gives you plenty of time to make any adjustments that you might need to. I believe that our housing office sends those assignments to your Missouri State email account. So if you've had any trouble getting into your Missouri State email account or you haven't been able to access that yet, let us know so we can help you get into that. And that is how our housing office will notify you of when you will move in. Catherine Z asks, are you able to tell us what dorm will be closed for students that need to self-isolate and not available for incoming freshmen? At this time, I do not know the specifics of which residence hall will be closed. We just found out yesterday that one of them will be used for self-isolation. So hopefully as soon as we have more information on that, we will update you. That is a really good question. Nicole asks, when do freshmen move into dorms? So our move-in weekend is set for the weekend of Friday, August 14th. Typically around 8 a.m. on that day is when our first-year students are welcome to move in. That is what we call our welcome weekend, and it is jam-packed with lots of different events. We have concerts. We have a lot of giveaways. You're going to get so much free food and bearware and everything like that when you're here for welcome weekend. So that should take place the weekend of August 14th. Nicole also asks, when do freshmen create their schedules? All incoming freshmen create their first semester schedule during Soar. So part of your Soar session includes meeting with your academic advisor. They're going to talk with you about any college credit you maybe have already received. And they're also going to talk with you about the degree that you're hoping to pursue and get you registered for those first semester of classes. So if you are taking any dual credit in high school, make sure that we have those transcripts by the time that you come for Soar. Once you finish with the classes, you can just reach out to each college that you have credit through and request that they send Missouri State your transcript. That way your academic advisor can see what classes you might already have credit for. Susan asks, can you dorm with someone you know? Yes, you can definitely do that. Part of the housing application is your roommate preference. So if you have a friend or you just know someone who's coming to Missouri State with you, you can pair with each other on your housing application so that you can get paired together. Our housing office has a really great PDF that kind of shows how to do the roommate preferences, and I would be happy to follow up, or someone can follow up and drop that in the chat with you. But yes, you can definitely preference someone that you know. Scroll back up here. Megan says, I am in Germany and will be flying to Missouri within a week of moving. I am not quite sure if I have to self-isolate, but my plan was to stay in a single dorm anyway. Megan, I'm not quite sure what that policy is going to look like for you since this is a pretty new happening that we've had. I would say that my best guess would be to contact our Health and Wellness Center. It's Majors Health Center at missouristate.edu, and hopefully they can give you some advice on how you should handle coming back into the state and being on campus. Sam Foster asks, is the ACT test score a requirement for admission, or is it halted due to COVID-19? That is a really good question, Sam. It kind of depends on when you're looking on coming in. If you are applying for summer or fall of 2020, we are going to try our hardest to review you for admission without a test score. We know that a lot of the tests were canceled. Some are still kind of up in the air for summer. So we want to give you the best chance for admission. So if that's the case, reach out and let us know that you won't be able to give us a test score score for admission, and we can work with you on that. But if you're looking at coming in during the 2021 cycle, we haven't yet finalized our testing policy, but hopefully we will have that information to you soon and keep you updated on that. Yes, thank you for pointing that out, Matt. There is a little bit of a delay. I am not purposefully avoiding your questions, so keep asking if I'm not able to get them. Madison says, what are your tips for off-campus freshmen? Good question, Madison. It can be a little tough sometimes. Most students do live here on campus for their first year. So if you're living off campus, some students might think that it's harder to get involved. That is certainly not the case. I mentioned a little bit ago that we have our welcome weekend. That is full of a lot of different events that you can be a part of, but also part of that is a new student festival that we do. That's where all of our organizations can set up an informational table, and that's a great way for you to find maybe some organizations that you can get involved in. Even if you're not living on campus, campus is very close to a lot of our off-campus apartments, so it's a quick drive in. So if you join an organization, you can still stay very, very involved on campus. It's really just whatever you want to be involved in. I would also recommend getting a meal plan while you're on campus. So even if you're going to do a lot of your cooking at home, you plan to buy your own groceries, go ahead and get a meal plan for our student union as well, because that's really nice to have if you have some back-to-back classes during the lunch hour and you just want to pop into the student union to grab some lunch while you're here. Victoria asked, how do I get in contact with potential roommates? So we have a new student community. It's a Facebook-sponsored app that we have, and we can definitely get you access to that. All of our admitted students are invited to join that once they're admitted, and that's a really great way to meet potential roommates. So send us an email to admissions@missouri-state.edu, and we would be happy to get you into that app there. All right, so Owen asks, at what point or what date will they determine if the fall semester will be online or traditional on-campus classes? I'm sure that's a question that everyone has on their minds, and we are trying to provide you with the most updated information that we can. We're always taking the health and safety of our campus as our first priority, so as soon as we know if it's going to be safe for us to have classes on campus, we will let you know. The plan right now is to have fall classes here on campus at Missouri State in Springfield, but we will update you if anything changes. All right, so Zaria asked, can we request more than one person for suite mates? You are only able to request one person. So for example, if you were wanting to live in Blair Shannon House, where there are 3 rooms with 2 people each, you would only be able to request the one person that's in your bedroom with you. Same goes for any other residence hall that you are applying for. Emily asks, how does Missouri State pair strangers in dorms together? So with our residence halls, the roommate matching process happens during that housing application. Part of the application includes a little roommate survey where you can just answer questions about yourself. So for example, if you're a morning person and you like to get up early in the morning and do your homework before class, or if you're more of a night person and you stay up a little later, maybe asking you if you like to have music or TV in the background while you're studying. Just little things like that to get to know you and how you are as a roommate. So if you are coming in with no one in mind and you're just going to get paired randomly, they're going to work to put you with someone who has similar answers on your survey. I was pretty afraid of that coming in my freshman year. I did go the random route, but I absolutely loved all of the roommates that I had, so much that I lived with some of them a second year in the same residence hall as well. So there's definitely no fear if you don't have a roommate in mind. Our housing office will try their hardest to pair you up with someone who's going to be similar to you. All right, so Common and Zoe, when will we know if we've been accepted for spring of 2021 semester? So to my knowledge, that application is going to be opening up this summer as well. All of our 2021 cycles will be opening this summer, hopefully around July. Once you apply and once you've turned in any other items that we might need, whether that's a transcript, a test score, anything like that, we usually get back with a decision in about 8 to 10 business days. So it is a pretty quick turnaround, and once that application opens, you are welcome to apply. Okay, Matt, yep, he re-mentioned that we are assessing our test policy for 2021, so we're going to keep you updated on that as any changes happen. Zaria also asked, are there still opportunities for financial aid? There are still some opportunities for you if you're coming in for fall of 2020. We have some scholarships that you might be eligible for and also FAFSA funding that might need to be processed. If you want to, reach out to us at admissions@missouri.state.edu and we can look at your particular situation and maybe help find some scholarship or financial aid opportunities for you. Gnarly asks, I am applying to the online program. I have a GED, which I received in Texas. Penn State told me that since I received my GED in Texas, that I could email my GED transcript to them. We would prefer to have some GED proof without email, but we can try to help you get that to us in the best way possible. Please send us an email to admissions@missouri.state.edu, and we will try our hardest to figure out that situation for you. I lost my place here. Let me find it. Okay, so Cal asked, how much are meal plans? Cal, I don't know off the top of my head how much each meal plan is. It is published on our website, but there are essentially two pieces to your meal plan. The first piece is going to be a weekly meal plan that you can use in our dining centers. So the options you have there are to choose 10, 14, 19, or unlimited meals per week. And that's how many times you can go and visit the dining centers per week. The other half of your meal plan is what we call boomer meals, and that is more of a declining debit card sort of system. So you're going to choose a lump sum at the start of your semester to load onto your Bear Pass card or your student ID, and that will be able to buy you anything from any of the vendors over in our student union, Starbucks, anything like that. So again, the specific costs are on our website, but you've got two different types that you will choose from. Susan asks, if the friend I want to stay with has already filled out her dorm preferences, will that matter? If you two are wanting to stay together, the important thing is to preference each other on each other's applications. So you'll want to log into your own application, and she'll probably want to log back into her application as well. And just make sure that you're each on there in some format so that our housing office knows that you do want to be paired together. Alita asks, if the COVID situation is still severe by the time college starts, are they going to make everything online or are they going to allow students on campus? Yes, that is a great question. As of right now, we are still planning to be on campus here in the fall, but we're always monitoring the situation for any updates and changes, and we're always going to put the safety and health of the campus first. So we will let you know if anything changes from that plan. Zaria also asks, I haven't been able to access my student email. Have those been set up yet? Yes, you do have access to your student email once you're admitted. It may just be that you haven't yet activated that email, but I can also say that the first time you log in is pretty confusing. It's a tricky process, but we are happy to help. So just send us an email to admissions@missouri.state.edu and we can get you in there. Same thing, Nicole. You can always contact us at admissions@missouri.state.edu for help with that email account. All right, Brenda asks, what is the latest date to request a specific roommate? As far as I know, I don't know of a specific date. The sooner that you can request your roommate, the better. Again, our housing assignments are going to start going out at the end of June, but you have up until that time to make any changes to your housing application. So try to log in there as soon as possible and make any of those updates that you need to. Laura asks, do you need to live on campus the first year as an incoming freshman for fall of 2020? Yes, all of our first year students are required to live on campus, and we haven't yet made any changes for fall 2020, so living on campus would still be a requirement. Ashlyn Pike asks, which dorms are available for freshmen? That's a good question. Most all of our residence halls are open for freshmen. There are typically only 3 that are exclusive to upperclassmen. One of them is Monroe Apartments, and the other is Sun Villa Apartments. Those are both upperclassmen apartment style residence halls. And then we have a third called Kentwood Hall, which is specifically for our transfer students. But you will have 7 different options for which residence halls you can choose as an incoming freshman. Okay, Brock asked, can freshmen bring their car with them? And if so, how would you go about registering a vehicle or getting a parking pass of some sort. Yes, you are definitely welcome to bring a car with you. I really enjoyed having my car with me freshman year so that if I needed to run to Walmart or if I wanted to go to the mall or if I just wanted to go explore Springfield, it was really nice and convenient to have that. But I can also assure you that it is definitely not a requirement to have a car on campus. We support all of our students bringing one, so you're welcome to do that. But most of our campus is very, very walkable. Some students will bring bikes, skateboards, things like that. And then we also do have a bus system called our Bear Line that is free transportation all around our campus, to our downtown campus, and some of the surrounding area. So you're welcome to bring a car, but it's not required. I know that when I was coming in freshman year, we registered for our parking passes during Soar. I believe that's still something that you're able to do during Soar, but hopefully one of our moderators will be able to give you some more information about that. Megan asks, if we are trying for a single person room, do we still have to do a roommate preference? I don't believe so. It might still prompt you to do some sort of roommate survey so that if we aren't able to give you your top choice of a single person room, we're going to still try to pair you with someone who is as similar as possible. But with some of the changes that have been going on, I'm not quite sure on that. You can always follow up with Residence Life at missouri-state.edu. They are a great resource for all of those housing questions. But I believe that you might still have to fill out that roommate survey just in case we aren't able to give you your first pick. Hannah asks, can gift cards be used at the Starbucks and other places, or can you only use Boomer Meals for those locations? I believe that you can still use gift cards. I know you can certainly use cash, credit, debit, anything like that. The vendors aren't exclusive to those Boomer Meals. It's just nice to have the Boomer Meal plan so that you're not paying out of pocket each time. But I believe that you can use those at our vendors. Saria asks, how much are parking passes and when and where can we purchase one? Great question. Again, I think it's going to be during Soar, but there is information online about the pricing of all of that. The particular parking pass that you all will choose for living on campus is a little bit different than some of the others. You're going to be assigned a certain color lot, which is related to the residence hall that you're going to be living in, and there is a flat fee that you will pay for the year for that parking pass. Yes, thank you, Courtney, for the reminder. If I miss your question, please just keep asking. Don't think that I'm skipping over that on purpose. I would love to help. Jasmine says, if you have a 4-person dorm, is there only going to be 2 people allowed in the room this upcoming fall? That is a question that I don't think I quite know the answer to. The logistics for all of our housing is still being figured out. So hopefully our Residence Life office will be providing some more updates in the future. But if you want to reach out to them for further clarification, their email is residencelife@missouri-state.edu. Zaria also asks, will the campus resident Parker Pass allow for parking anywhere on the campus? No, it does not make you eligible for parking anywhere on campus. You're able to park in the designated lots for students living in the residence halls, but those lots are immediately outside of our residence halls. We also have a parking garage designated to that lot. So there's lots of areas that you can park on campus, but not quite all of them. Susan says, I have applied already, and when will I find out if I've been accepted yet? That's awesome that you've already completed that application, and we are eager to review it and get a decision back to you. If you've applied and sent us all of the required materials, it usually takes about 8 to 10 business days for us to get a decision back to you, but feel free to follow up with us at admissions@missouri-state.edu. That way we can look to see if we're missing any items from you, or we can maybe give you an estimate on when you'll hear back about a decision. Laura asks, where can I find the rooms and prices? Yes, so online we have our Residence Life website. Each residence hall has its own page that will show you pictures of the residence halls. It will break down all of the amenities that are included. It gives little student testimonials about what they loved about living in each of the residence halls. So on our Residence Life office, their website, you can find that, and I'm sure one of our moderators can provide you with that link as well. Isaac, no worries about coming in a little late. For SOAR this summer, we are offering 2 types of sessions. You can choose an online or an on-campus session. They're both going to feature very similar content. You're going to be able to register for your classes at both sessions, but you can just choose which one is going to be the best option for you. Victoria asks, what exactly happens at Soar? That's probably something that a lot of you are curious about. It's kind of a mystery until you get here, but Soar is just a really great way to start becoming a bear in a little bit more of the sense of the word. So when you come, or whether you do it online, you're just going to get a pretty general introduction to Missouri State. We're going to tell you more about us, what we're about. We have a public affairs mission that's built into everything that we do here, so you're definitely going to hear about our public affairs mission. But the biggest piece of your Soar session is going to be meeting with an academic advisor and registering for those classes. So we have the orientation aspect of everything, but we also have the advisement and registration aspect of everything. And whether you choose an on-campus or an in-person session, you're going to have access to all of that. Okay, Zaria asks, are all beds on the dorms loftable? To my knowledge, only certain residence halls have loftable beds. We've had one that was renovated over the past couple summers, and I believe that a new feature of that is that the beds are loftable. Other than that, I don't believe that you are able to loft beds just for safety purposes, but I know that the one that I lived in, our residence hall had beds that could be bunked. You can also move them around the room as you want to, so rooms are pretty customizable, but there's certain things like lofting them that you're not able to do. So Isaac asks, I'm still undecided between two colleges. Is there a deadline to enroll for the fall semester? We're so glad that you have your interest in Missouri State, but we definitely understand that you're trying to make the best decision for yourself. There isn't a strict deadline on when you need to enroll. We can admit students and get you enrolled up to the first week of classes. That's definitely not ideal. We want you to try to get that pinned down sooner rather than later so that we can help you figure out your next steps, but take all the time that you need to make that decision. One of the things that you'll do before enrolling is paying our confirmation fee of $125. That fee is fully refundable up through June 1st of 2020. So after that, that fee is no longer refundable. So you can kind of use that as a sort of deadline if you would like to. All right, so Furkan says, I applied for multiple GA positions and I haven't heard from most of them. I'm a fall accepted student for graduate program. I am so sorry to hear that. Our office specifically deals with undergraduate admissions, so we unfortunately won't be able to provide information about GA positions or your process on that, but our graduate admissions office can definitely help you out with that. Their email is graduateadmissions@missouristate.edu, so I would just encourage you to reach out and get some more information from them about that. Just Betta says, has the rate for the new residence hall come out yet? To my knowledge, they have not published the rate for that residence hall as of right now, but that might be updated in the future. Samuel says, sorry if this question has already been asked, but how will classes look for the next semester and even future semesters? No need to apologize. Everyone's kind of popping in at different times, so no worries about that. We are fully planning to have classes in person on campus this fall, but we are always monitoring the health and safety of everyone on campus, and we're putting that as our top priority. So if any decisions are made that go against that, we will always work to update students. Right now, we've only been looking at fall 2020 for coming online, but as we start to get closer to that, we'll have a better plan for the semesters that will come afterward. Michelle asks, do we need to send all transcripts by a certain time or as soon as we have them? As soon as you have them would be great, whether it's a high school or a college transcript. Once your grades on there are final and you know that everything's complete, feel free to send those over to us. We do have to have certain transcripts before we can admit you. Other transcripts we just need to have before you start classes. You're welcome to touch base with us at admissions@missouristate.edu about your particular situation and what transcripts we need from you. But yeah, as soon as you have them, feel free to send them our way. Okay, so I think I've gotten caught up here in the chat. So for any of you who might have been joining us a little bit later, I just want to take a second to address a few things. So obviously our campus is working to address updates around the coronavirus as quickly and as efficiently as we can. Some of those changes that have already happened, we are all working from home as of right now, but we would still love to connect with you and help answer any questions that you might have. You can send our office an email to admissions@missouristate.edu. And you can also request an appointment with your admission representative. Just go to missouristate.edu/contact-rep, and you can sign up for a phone or a Zoom meeting that works with you and your representative's schedule. We have also not yet resumed our campus visits, but we're working hard to figure out alternatives for that and update you when you can. In the meantime, you can check out our virtual tour on our website. It's a really great way to check out campus if you haven't been able to do so, or if it's just been a while since you've been here and you want to take another look. So check out our virtual tour on our website. Both our confirmation fee and our housing deposit refund deadlines have been extended due to coronavirus. We want you to make the most informed decision that you can, and we do not want to pressure you into making any decisions right now. So our confirmation fee and housing deposit refund deadline has been extended to June 1st. And lastly, one of the big changes that has come is to Soar. So Soar will be one-day sessions held throughout the summer in July and August, and you will have the option to choose an in-person or an on-campus session. Both are going to feature very, very similar content, so you can choose whichever one is best for you. I'm going to jump back over here into the chat. Just Betta asks, when do students get information about the general scholarship application? That is a really good question. So to my knowledge, though, the office started processing those around mid to late April, and they're going to be awarding scholarships through the beginning of June. So right now is the thick of the time that you'll be hearing about that. I don't believe they notify students if you haven't received a scholarship, but they will notify you if you have. So be checking your Missouri State email for that. Jasmine asks, what things are going to be part of the online Soar? So part of Soar is going to feature the more orientation pieces where you're just learning more about what it's like to be a student at Missouri State. You're learning more about the Springfield community. You're learning about our public affairs mission, just everything that makes us Missouri State. And the other piece of that Soar session is going to be meeting virtually with your academic advisor. They're going to talk with you through your degree plan, talk about any college credits that you have maybe already received, and then help you get registered for your first semester of classes. Ashlyn asks, if we have deferred the confirmation fee, when will payment be due? Yes, so some of our students, depending on your FAFSA results, might be eligible to defer your confirmation fee. If that's the case, your confirmation fee is loaded onto your fall 2020 student bill. So you can pay off that confirmation fee with any sort of financial aid that you're receiving. So it will just get loaded onto your bill, and you can pay for that when you pay for the other things that are on your bill. Susan asks, will the email an acceptance letter or mail? Right now, we are trying to email acceptance letters as quickly as possible. That's going to serve as your official admission notification. So once we've decided, you will get an email shortly, but we are also following up and sending admission packets after that. It might just be a little bit more delayed because we are having people working from home, but you will get an email once an admission decision has been made. Porter asks, with the housing application, what's the best way to submit a meningitis vaccination record? Great question. We know it might be tough to get that faxed or mailed to us right now, so our medical office is accepting that via email. You can send that to Majors Medical Records. That's MAGERS Medical Records at MissouriState.edu. And I'll ask one of our moderators to put that in the chat if they haven't already, but you can email it straight to them and they should be able to process that. Okay, so a few other things I'll just go through here really quickly. It sounds like we've got, I skipped over Erica's question here. Erica asks, does the Wells 4-person suite have a private bathroom? I'm not sure off the top of my head. If you look at our residence hall breakdown on the website, it will show you what the exact features and amenities of that 4-person room looks like. And I'll ask one of our moderators to drop the link to that so you can check that out. Okay, Susan asks, I just got a message saying Soar registration is open and to use the ID that was in the acceptance letter. We'd be happy to help you get into your account to get registered for Soar. Just send us an email to admissions@MissouriState.edu, Susan, and we would be happy to help. Should I wait for the acceptance letter before I submit my FAFSA information? No, Susan, you do not have to wait until you have your admission decision. You can send your FAFSA at any time. That way our financial aid office can work on processing that in the meantime. Zaria asks, when will room and roommate assignments be available? Our roommate assignments and our housing assignments will begin going out at the end of June. Our housing office will notify you via your Missouri State email account. So if you don't have access to that account or if you have any trouble with it, let us know and we can definitely help you out with that. Okay, so I think I'm caught up here again. I do apologize if I've missed anyone's questions with the chat jumping around. If that's the case, just ask it again and I'd be happy to address that for you. Some other things I want to mention in case we have any rising seniors here that are just wanting a little bit more information about Missouri State and how to apply. We would love to have your application. We are planning to open that up this summer, hopefully around July is when we're planning to have that. And you can apply as early as then. Once you apply, we will hurry to get an admission decision back to you, usually about 8 to 10 business days. But you can start as soon as that application opens. And we are working to finalize our testing policy for the fall of 2021. So the application process will hopefully have some updates for you soon. All right. Sean Clethermus asked, do you recommend Honors College? How does it work? I would definitely recommend the Honors College if you have the opportunity to be a part of it. There are two ways that you can join our Honors College. The first way is through your test score and your GPA that you have in high school, but you can also apply to be part of the Honors College while you're here on campus as a first-year student. There are so many benefits to being part of the Honors College, and I would definitely recommend it. One of the best things about it is that our class sizes tend to be a little bit smaller. The professors that I ever had in my honors college classes loved to do more of discussion style. So it felt a lot more like the environment that I had in high school where I was able to interact directly with my professor. We had a lot of discussion and group work with the other students in the class. And it was a really nice transition to that. Some other benefits are that you get to register a little bit earlier for your classes. You get to check books out from the library for longer, which is what I'm sure everyone's excited about for the honors college. But lots of little benefits and perks that are included with that. So if you are invited to the Honors College, I would definitely encourage you to consider joining. And you can learn more information about it on our website. I'm sure one of our moderators has dropped the link to that. Brenda asks, not sure if you have this info, but are there options for paying fees like tuition, etc.? We are definitely not the best office to check with on that because there's a lot of details that go into it. My understanding is that there is a payment plan option, so you have the opportunity to enroll in that when it comes time for your bill to be due. But our bursar's office would actually be the best way to check on that. I see that Matt sent you the link with more information about that, but you can always check with them if you have further questions. Okay, just Beta asks, if I have credit for Calc 2 as an incoming freshman, do I take the math placement test? Hopefully one of our counselors here in the chat has been able to give you some more information about how that Calc 2 test would transfer. It all just depends on the score that you get on that test and whether or not we can give you college credit for it. If you don't receive the credit that you think that you should have gotten or that you wanted, you can take that placement test in order to test you out of some other classes, but it really just all depends on what that calculus score is and what class it places you into. Yes, thank you for joining us, Nicole, and we're so excited to see you on campus during Soar. Okay, Ashlyn asks, are we able to play instruments even if we are not majoring or minoring in music? Yes, you can definitely do that. Even if you don't want to be a part of that academic program, feel free to bring your instrument to campus with you and continue that passion that you have. The residence hall that I lived in freshman year was Hutchins House, and in the basement of Hutchins House, there's different soundproof practice rooms that our students can use. So it's not open only to music majors. If you have an instrument and you want to continue practicing that when you get here to campus, you can definitely do that as well. Okay, Sean asked, what sort of activities are there on campus? We have so much going on at any given time. There is always something to keep you busy. That was one of my favorite parts about living on campus, and that's actually why I decided to live on campus for a second year. But different times of year, we've got different things going on. So I mentioned during that first weekend when everyone's moving in, that's what we call Welcome Weekend. We have a big event called Bear Bash, where all of our incoming students can mingle with our current students, meet new people, start to make some new friends, and get involved that way. We also host different concerts throughout the year. We've got our John Q. Hammonds Arena here on our campus, and that is a place that's open for the public to come in and do any concerts and events. So there's always big name musicians and different events coming in as well. But even just here around Springfield, there's so much going on, different arcades and movie theaters and restaurants and coffee shops to try out. So I can assure you that whether it's here on campus or out in the Springfield community, you will never get bored with anything to do. Joining organizations is another really great way to get involved and have some fun and get involved with different activities. We have over 350 different organizations, so there's definitely lots that you can find to keep you entertained. Okay, so Isaac, it sounds like you have some questions about that scholarship application. I'm thinking that the reason that you're getting that error is because you're no longer eligible to apply for scholarships for the 2020 year, but that does not necessarily mean that the scholarships are taken yet or have been assigned yet, but it is too late to apply for those the annual scholarship application for this current year, unfortunately. Zaria asked, the person I requested to be my roommate submitted her housing application later than me. Will that affect whether or not we will be roommates? So our housing office typically takes your roommate preference as the first priority, and they are going to try their absolute hardest to pair you two together. So even if you submitted them at different times, they're going to work with you who finished it first, and they're going to try to pair you together, even if you do have some differing times there. Victoria asked, can we enroll in classes that don't exactly go with our major? Yes, and I would definitely encourage you to do that. The first couple years that you're here is going to be built up of a lot of general education classes, which is our version. It's kind of like the electives that you took in high school. So there's going to be certain general education classes that you're required to take, but a lot of them are going to be ones that you have the choice to. One of those that I took during my freshman year was a mythology class. That was one of the classes that I took as honors credit, and I absolutely loved that. If my advisor hadn't suggested that to me, I would have never ended up in that class, and it had absolutely nothing to do with my major. So there are some classes that you have some choice on what you want to take, some that you might just want to take for fun, so you definitely have that option. And it looks like we've got some questions about scholarships. Hopefully our moderators have been able to answer that for you. Ashlyn asked, when is the housing application due? Not a strict deadline for that either, just the sooner the better. The sooner that you get your application in, the quicker they'll be able to process your application and get you in line for your assignment. I will say that the housing deposit is refundable until June 1st. So if you want to try to get your application and your deposit in by then, you can kind of make that a soft goal for yourself, but no strict deadline for that. All right, Sean Clethermus asks, how is the food on campus? I will say that I was very impressed the whole time that I lived on campus with our food. It's definitely not got the rap that a lot of other dining centers have where it's just your slop food or anything like that. Our dining centers work really hard to take student choice into consideration as well. I remember the 2 years that I lived on campus, every couple weeks, every few months, they would put out a survey to see what different kind of foods they wanted us to start cycling in. They would do different themed events around holidays and different stuff like that. So you've got a lot of different options, and the food is very good that you're choosing from. Every day, you're always going to have the things that are constant, like the pizza buffet. We've got a salad bar, a hamburger station, anything like that. And then we have our main line that changes up food every day as well. So you're always going to have lots of options to choose from. And then we also have our vendors like Chick-fil-A, Subway, Panda Express, all that kind of stuff in our student union. So that's a really great option as well. Reagan asks, is Soar still hosting an overnight stay? They are not planning to do that because it has been moved to one-day sessions. So to my knowledge, we are not doing any overnight housing for Soar this summer. Thank you for joining us, Emily. Ashlyn Pike says, what options are available for work study and how do you apply? So your eligibility for work study depends on your FAFSA results. If you are eligible for work study, you'll be notified when you get your financial aid award letter. We do definitely support work study on our campus, and there are lots and lots of jobs that you can apply for each year with work study, but you'll just want to work with our financial aid office to see if you are qualified for that. Okay, Anna asked, does the marching band move into dorms earlier due to band camp? I'm not 100% sure on that, Anna. I know that our housing office works with different areas for accommodations if you might have to move in early. So one of our moderators should be able to follow up with you about that, or you can email our Residence Life office. It is residencelife@missouristate.edu, and they should be able to tell you more about your move-in options. Okay, Reagan says, when you are moving in, do you request a specific time or day? Typically, no. Things could always be a little bit different this fall, but to my knowledge, what happens is once it opens up on Friday, you can come and do it at any point. However, we know that things might look different because of the coronavirus and having to limit the amount of people on campus. So we will try to update you with what the move-in is going to look like a little bit closer to time once our Residence Life has been able to make some decisions about that. Kayshawn, when is move-in date? So move-in is set for Friday, August 14th as of right now. So the 14th is when you move in, and then August 17th is the first day of classes. All that time between then is filled with our welcome weekend, which is a lot of really fun different events that you can get involved in. Okay, Susan asks, are there restrictions on what you can have in your dorm? Yes, there are some restrictions on what things you can bring into the residence halls, but our Residence Life office is very, very upfront with what you are and aren't allowed to bring. They do publish a little guide on the website, and I hope one of our moderators can drop that link in the chat as well. But it will outline anything that you aren't allowed to bring. For example, if you were bringing a cooktop stove or something like that, or certain lamp shades that you might have on a lamp are fire hazards and aren't allowed. So they will go through the specifics so that you can make sure you're only bringing things that are allowed. Okay, thank you, Matt. He has confirmed that even though SOAR is a one-day session, you are still allowed to stay overnight on campus if you attend the on-campus SOAR session. There is a fee that's associated with that, but if that's something that you're interested in, you can reach out to us and we can help you navigate that process and how you're going to pay for the overnight housing. Susan asked about refrigerators. So everything like that is provided for you on campus. Some of the features that you're going to get, no matter which residence hall you live in, is a refrigerator and a microwave. So in some of our residence halls, for example, in our community style residence hall Freddie, you are going to get a mini fridge for you and your one roommate to share. But where I lived in Hutchins House, because we had a kitchenette area as part of the residence hall, we had a full size fridge for 4 different people. So you're going to get some sort of refrigerator, and you're also going to get a microwave. So those things are provided for you and you don't have to worry about bringing them, but you can bring things like coffee makers and blenders and toasters and those kind of items. Zaria asked, if we do stay overnight for SOAR, will we be staying in the dorm that we will be assigned to in the fall? Not necessarily. Usually to keep everyone contained, SOAR will house overnight students in one specific residence hall. Because it's going to look a little bit different this summer, they may have already decided which residence hall that's going to be, but it's not necessarily the one that you're going to be staying in when you get here in the fall. Okay, Sean's asking about sports at Missouri State. We have a very, very active athletic life. That's something that I've always loved about being a Bear. We have 17 different athletic teams and we have a huge range. So whether you're a football or a baseball, volleyball, basketball fan, pretty much any sport you can think of, you're going to be able to watch and get involved in here at Missouri State. All of our athletic events are free for students to attend with your student ID. The only 2 exceptions to that rule are baseball and ice hockey because they don't play on our campus. If you've ever been to Springfield, you've probably seen the Springfield Cardinal Stadium. It's only a couple blocks away from our campus and it is a really great facility. That is actually where our Springfield Cardinals play. They're a AA affiliate of the St. Louis Cardinals, so it's nice to have them right here in town. But our Bears use that stadium as well. So there's a little bit of a fee for students to go and check out a game. But personally, I never paid more than about $5 to go see a baseball game as a student. Same thing for ice hockey. That is my personal favorite sport to go and watch. I think it's very fun and fast paced. And I think it's really cool that we have an ice hockey team here in the state of Missouri. But they play downtown at our ice rink. And there's also a small little fee for you to go and attend. But any and every sport you are welcome to attend. And we definitely encourage you to do that while you're here. Reagan asked, do most of the beds in the residence halls have the ability to loft? I don't believe that the residence halls give you that ability. One of our residence halls that was renovated over the summer, I believe that one of the new features in there is loftable beds, but all of the other residence halls do not yet have that option. So you wouldn't be able to if you don't live in the residence hall that is loftable, but you can bunk your beds and you can move your beds around your room. Rooms are pretty customizable, but that's one thing that you might not be able to do is loft them. Okay, Isaac asks, where can parents stay during SOAR if we have to stay overnight? I know that when everything was still kind of normal earlier in the semester and we were still planning to do on-campus SOAR sessions that were 2 days, parents still aren't allowed to stay on campus. Usually parents will have to find some sort of accommodation at a nearby hotel or something like that. That would be my understanding as well for this summer. I don't believe that that would change. It's usually only the student that's able to stay on campus overnight. Okay, Jimmy asks, what is my favorite thing about campus? That is definitely very hard to say, especially coming back to campus today. It's been a little while since I've been here, so it was nice to just walk around and see campus again. It is so beautiful and I love being here. I have to say my favorite thing is the fountain. I think that pretty much anyone on campus would say that the fountain is a great feature, and they just recently turned it on again for the spring so that students can take graduation pictures, which is a really cool thing that they've done, I think. So I love the fountain. It's a great way to, if you're just walking by it during classes and a little bit of it sprays on you, it's a nice little refresher. But it's also so beautiful to look at if you're studying in the library or just walking to and from class. So that would definitely have to be my favorite part there. Okay, so as we're wrapping everything up here, there's a couple points that I just want to reiterate again. Feel free to ask any final questions in the chat and I will definitely address them. But some things I just want to go back over. We do have a coronavirus webpage to keep you updated on any changes that Missouri State and the Office of Admissions is making. That is missouristate.edu/admission/coronavirus. And I'm sure one of our moderators can include that in the chat for you. So if you want to stay up to date with that, you can. Even though we are not on campus right now, we are still happy to connect with you. You can send us an email with any questions or concerns, and we can look into that for you. It's admissions@missouristate.edu. And you can also request a time to meet with an admission representative over the phone or via Zoom. That is missouristate.edu/contact-rep. I've talked about it a little bit. We've had some questions, but SOAR is looking at being a little bit different for this summer. That's one of the updates that we've made due to coronavirus. We're going to be hosting one-day sessions instead of two-day sessions. These sessions will be both online and in person, whichever works best into your schedule. Sign up for that and come on here for campus. And lastly, we have still paused our campus visits. We are working on the best way to start those back up, and we will keep you updated as that's happening. But you can also take a virtual tour at any time to get a little better look at our campus. Okay, Ashlyn asks, how do you accept scholarships? I'm assuming you're asking how you can accept a scholarship from Missouri State that you've already been offered. Most scholarships, they will send you some sort of acceptance form that you can sign and send back. Sometimes they can be accepted online, but if you want to send us an email to admissions@missouristate.edu, it might just depend on the scholarship that you have, and we can look into the best way for you to accept that. Okay, Sean asks, since SOAR is one day, am I still able to take my placement exam? Yes, I believe that will still be offered for any math or English placement that you're going to be taking or a foreign language placement. I would definitely defer to our SOAR office. I believe that is newbears@missouristate.edu. They can give you a little bit more information about that placement exam, but I do believe that it will still be offered. Okay, so again, we're wrapping things up here, but if you have any final questions, please don't hesitate to include them. Some other things I just wanted to mention for any juniors that might be watching this stream. If you're looking at applying for Missouri State for next year, we would love to take a look at your application. That is going to be opening up this summer around July. So that's when you can apply and send us any transcripts, any of those needed items, so that we can review your application for admission. We are still working to finalize our testing policy. So, whether we're going to be test optional, super scoring, all the details about that, and we will publish those updates as soon as we can. Shankly Thermos asks, what if I want to join a fraternity? That is definitely something that you'll have the opportunity to do while you're here on campus. We have around a dozen different fraternities for you to be able to join. That process takes place once you come here in the fall. So usually after the first few weeks of classes, our fraternities will start to publish what their recruitment's going to look like, and you can start getting involved that way. But you are definitely able to do that as part of our student organizations. Okay. So it looks again like we've got all caught up here. I just want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Hopefully you got some of your questions answered and just get some more information about Missouri State and becoming a bear in the future. I've loved being able to talk with you all a little bit, but do not hesitate to reach out if there's anything else we can help you with or if you have questions about your specific situation. Our email is admissions@missourastate.edu, and you can also sign up for a time to meet with your admission representative over the phone or over Zoom. That is missourastate.edu/contact-rep. Ashlyn, really great question. What is security like on campus? I think that we have really great security all over our campus. Some of the different features that we have little emergency poles throughout campus. Those are strategically placed all throughout so that if you are ever in danger, if there's ever an emergency going on, we have those poles stationed around campus. We also have a Springfield Police Substation in the northwest corner of our campus. It's only about a 5-minute walk from the center of campus, so it's very close and very central. They constantly monitor campus 24/7. They have patrol officers on bikes and in cars, just going around making sure that everything is safe on campus, but they'll also come and help if you need your car jump started or anything like that. Freshman year, before I went home for winter break, my car was dead because of the weather, and they were there within about 10 minutes and jumped my car so that I could get home. So not only do they always patrol campus to make sure we're staying safe, they're also a really great resource for any of those emergency services that you might need. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and work on wrapping things up here. Again, it's been a pleasure to talk with you all, but don't hesitate to reach out if we can help with anything and everything in the future. I will hang on just a second to see if any other final questions come through, but you're also able to just send us some questions to admissions@missourastate.edu. Courtney was great enough to put that link in there for you, and you can also sign up for a time to meet with your admission representative. That is missourastate.edu/contact-rep. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you to all my moderators in the chat for addressing those questions and including links and everything like that. You have all been a great help. Don't hesitate to let us know if we can help you with anything in the future, and go Bears.